Welcome to yesterday's news, where I give you yesterday's news in 3 minutes or less. And the last one today is a fucking doozy. Yesterday, the largest group of Epstein survivors gathered in front of the Capitol to testify about their experiences with Epstein, one of them directly implicating Trump. Of course, Nancy Mace, after her tearful panic attack, has now gone back to defending Trump as the law and order president, even though he's doing the most, including sending B-2 bombers over the victims as they're talking at their press conference. But we do have Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, hey, something's up. We should absolutely be releasing these files. Harvard University's pushback paid off because a judge has said that the administration cannot block them from receiving $2.6 billion in research funding. And this is why you never obey in advance. On the flip side of the coin, Florida has decided they're not going to require any vaccines for children in schools. None of them. MMR, Hep B, COVID, nothing. No vaccines for children who are being forced into this, they have no say, by their vaccinated parents. The DOD sank a boat off the coast of Venezuela claiming it was full of drugs and drug dealers. There's no evidence. There was no trial. There were no arrests. They're just saying, hey, that's what happened, and they blew the boat up in the middle of the water. And in his continued obsession with Rosie O'Donnell, he is threatening again to take away her citizenship, which is not something he can do. He's just deflecting from the Epstein files again. And they have switched from moving the National Guard to Chicago to New Orleans, which I thought was weird until I learned that Palantir has been working with New Orleans police using a predictive policing technology and human surveillance to test out these new AI policing technologies. Remember Judge Hannah Dugan from Wisconsin, who was arrested for helping someone evade arrest when it was really someone in her courtroom and she was acting in her official capacity? Well, her court date has been set for December, and she faces up to 6 years in prison and a $350,000 fine if convicted. Utah's congressional maps have to be redrawn by court order. They decided to refuse to use a voter-approved independent districting that was used in 2022 and 2024 in an effort to give more GOP seats to Congress, but a judge has stopped that and says, no, you have to use the voted-on district map. And this ball of human excrement is Camden Dean Dale, 22 years old, who was facing 5 to 10 years in prison for raping a little girl starting when she was 7 until she was 12 years old. And then Judge Stephen Boyce, who was appointed by Republican Governor Brad Little, came in and said, he's too young. He has a bright future. Gave him 8 years probation and 180 days in jail. The little girl's stepfather says he can't hug her because she starts crying and she's repulsed by physical touch. And her mother says she has had stomach aches and vomiting episodes ever since she was 7 years old. But we are a country that is committed to protecting child predators, no matter what they do, no matter when they get caught. In fact, we even depict them with a headline of what position they started in baseball.